Hello, my name is Lenny Reed, and today I'm going to be showing you how to grow a thick pair of lats and wide enough biceps that'll bust you out your sleeves. Now, today we're training at KFC, and it's not the same KFC you're thinking about. It's not the same place we can get a chicken bucket from. It's Kelter Fitness Center, and the first movement we're doing today is an overhand lat pull down. Now, we're just outside shoulder width, and we are pulling with straps. If you are not pulling with straps on all of your rowing movements or pull down movements, you are already at a disadvantage, and I think you should rethink that. Getting a pair of straps is super cheap and is easy. I think getting a pair of straps also did ultimately change my back training, since I was able to pull probably another 10 to 25 pounds and also do a few extra reps at the end of my sets due to my grip strength being increased. Now, you can see with these first working sets the intensity that I am bringing. I like to model my training after an almost Dorian Yates type of style. I loved watching his old training videos with the blood and guts type of style, going as hard as possible, leaving no gains on the table, and making sure that you're giving it everything that you can. It's the style I love to train with, and I think that if a lot of people started training with that style, their gains in strength and everything would really go through the roof. And the reason I believe this to be true is the fact that a lot of people that I see in the gym are training with inadequate intensity and are not giving a lot to their sets. Most of their sets are junk volume thrown towards the end of the workout with, 4 sets of 10 to 12, and they think they're just going to grow. They think that out of nowhere, they're just going to start blowing up, and that is not the case as a natural. As a natural lifter, you have to make sure that all 3 aspects of your bodybuilding training is in order. When I talk about these 3 aspects, I'm talking about your food, I'm talking about your sleep, and I'm talking about your training intensity. If you're not making sure all 3 of these are in order, you're really not going to grow. It's not going to all come together. But once you start putting all 3 of these aspects in order, you're going to grow like a weed. You're going to grow like nobody's ever seen it before. And you'll probably even get some steroid accusations too. Now, when I mentioned the 3 steps to training, your food, your sleep, and your intensity, how do I put them in order? I'm going to tell you your most important thing to training and bodybuilding if you want to grow is your food number 1. I'm going to go sleep number 2, and I'm going to go intensity number 3. And the reason for this and why I'm putting sleep above intensity is if you don't get your sleep, you can't produce adequate intensity in the gym. You can't go hard enough to progressive overload and continue to put on mass if you're not getting your sleep. And rolling into the next movement, we're going to be doing single arm rear delt cable flies. Now, with this movement, I'm taking the cable to the highest position that it can go to, and I'm using that angle to create tension on my rear delt. You can see the angle I'm taking in the video. I'm taking that cable from all the way to the top and almost crossing it down towards my torso area. This is a killer movement for my rear delts, and it's a movement that I've known for a while, but no, I don't see a lot of people performing this in the gym. But with this movement, we're only doing 2 working sets, and we're keeping the warm-up sets to a minimum. I almost guarantee everybody that does this movement will have fried rear delts after the first working set if you were training with adequate intensity. And honestly, the pump after 2 working sets is almost too disgusting to even look at. This is really the only rear delt exercise I've done for the past 2 to 3 years. And honestly, the only other rear delt exercise that I've even considered putting into my regimen or exercise routine is a rear delt dumbbell swing, which I usually set up on an incline bench. I'll show you guys that in a later back and bicep video, but I really think and truly believe that if you stick with this exercise and keep the intensity, you don't need any other rear delt exercise in the game to perform. Now, getting into this next movement, we are doing a neutral grip row. Now, I don't actually have a neutral grip row attachment at my gym, so I have to use 2D handles and put them over a straight bar so I can, almost imitate a neutral grip row attachment and have a lat biased row. Now, this is one of my favorite lat biased rows. I'm doing a warm-up set here, not much weight, only probably about a little bit above 50%, and not doing much reps, but we're getting right into the working set right away, rowing some heavy weight. I think we were doing 160, 170 pounds on here. For lat rows, which is pretty solid for me. And with this movement exercise in particular, I want everybody to pay attention to my execution throughout the movement, making sure my lats are tucked and making sure my shoulders are rolled back, keeping an upright posture, and executing the movement with every single repetition. Now, even towards the end of my sets, you can see that I'm still keeping relatively good form, still trying to get after every single repetition that's left on the table. And after this set, I knew I had to take off the pump cover. I knew I was feeling large. Giving them a couple lat spreads right in the middle of KFC. Boom, feeling like Dorian on the Olympia stage, baby. Now, I only showed you the end portion of this second working set because I didn't want to completely bore you, but if you do this neutral grip row properly, I promise you will grow some wings for lats. It is proven. Now we are going to get into the bicep portion of the workout. Now we are starting with an easy bar preacher curl. This has always really been one of my staples in my exercise routine, except I really do prefer a machine preacher curl. One maybe even like at Planet Fitness. I know people crap on Planet Fitness, but they have an amazing preacher curl machine that I've loved to use for a while now. But you can see in the movement how I'm performing it, how I'm keeping that eccentric the same throughout all repetitions. And with biceps, guys, you don't really need to complicate it. If you stick to 2 movements that have worked for you for a while now, there's really no reason to switch up your regimen if your biceps have been growing at a good speed and you're happy with the gains and progress that you're making in the gym. Now, I'm not going to be showing you the second working set of the easy bar preacher curl just because it's pretty easy to get the understanding down just from watching one clip of the exercise. Now, going on to the next bicep movement, we are training hammer curls with dumbbells. Now, hammer curls have been one of my favorite ways to grow my arms for forever, especially because they've blown up my forearms as well in the process. I mean, you guys can see here, my forearms are a good size compared to my biceps, and I think it's been accustomed to doing a lot of heavy hammer curls to failure. And just keep progressive overloading with my hammer curls, making sure I'm doing more weight every single week, and making sure that I'm keeping the same intensity every time I step in the gym. This is just one of those movements that you cannot have out of your regimen or your routine. And with all of that being said, I just want to thank every one of you for watching this video. Chest, shoulders, and triceps routine coming out here soon.